Alright, looks like we should be live. So, hello, Internet! Welcome again to another Cosbox stream in Scarworld 2, Electric Boogaloo. So, as you can see by my attire here, I have taken a Red Bull, and I have got some wings now! Finally! We had the dragon fight yesterday. Unfortunately, I was not able to make that. It was right smack dab in the middle of a large writer's meeting I had for my side job, so was not able to make that one, but there were some other streams that had taken place there, so you can check out some of those recordings. But as of right now, I am finally able to fly around and take a look at this place from the air. So let's get on up here and airborne. And yeah, you can see where I have been kind of positioned. This should be probably your first look at my base from the air. So you can see how small my house and barn is compared to the massive iron farm. Just the structure that's going up around it. Still playing around with a couple of things. There's a particular picture that I'm working off of, and he had shared it with Agent Undertakers, my neighbor. So we're kind of sharing the farm because he was helping me get this set up. You can see I did add the extra platform on here. Unfortunately, somehow a lightning strike managed to turn these villagers to witches, even though I've got there's this platform up above it. Somehow that wasn't enough to protect them. So unfortunate that they dropped. I don't know if I'm going to bother with getting more villagers up in there. We've still got 3. This thing's still firing pretty well. It may be something we deal with it at a later point. I'm not messing with it right at this particular moment. But taking a look here, you can see I'm trying to get some additional depth added in here. And yeah, the rockets, I don't know if this is a 116 update, but even just flight duration 1 rockets seem to have gotten us a lot more duration, for lack of a better term. But you can see I'm trying to add some depth in there with those extra blocks. It's kind of hard to see here, especially being at night. But I'm playing around with some other ideas there. I was trying to avoid using different blocks. I mean, I could definitely use dark oak rather than just the stripped oak logs to be able to get that covered. And then the color would kind of give us a little bit difference in depth. I was trying to play around with that with some physical changes, and so trying to use the trapdoors, but I don't know that I like it too much. Yeah, I just haven't been able to decide just yet. But yeah, if you wanted to take a look at things here, you can see just how close I am to the shopping district. It is literally just a quick hop over here. I don't even have to do any tricks to fly over here on 1 rocket. I can get there. Oh, by the way, I have added some additional detailing to the ship here. Again, I don't really have any plans for this, so I'm figuring someone will take it off of me, which is fine. I got inspired to complete the build, so I was just doing that. Oh, looks like we have a rocket shop that this has finally popped up right next door. We've got some. You can see we got the wool going on here. They're planning out some detailing for the streets, so it's just giving us a little bit more of a visual look at things. You can kind of pick out where everything is. But yeah, you can see where we've got some additional shops that have been cropping up here. There have been a lot of end shops now that the end is opened up, getting access to everything. I don't know whether I'm more excited now for having wings so I can fly around, or if I'm more excited having shulkers, just because that makes transport so much easier. Especially with the warp command, that'll make things a lot easier to be able to move things back and forth between bases once I get going. That's where most of my focus is going to be today, is working on. I'm still terraforming out my main base, where that's going to be going. Well, let's make the gap. Yeah, I made it! I do love this Ravager build. I mean, it's huge. It is absolutely enormous, but I love the detail that went into here. I thought this would look really cool. Let me fly out real quick so I can get a better visual of it. Yeah, there you can see. That one just looks really cool. I like it. So yeah, let's go ahead and warp over to my main base. And we'll be teleported here, and it'll probably take a minute for the chunk to load, so just be ready for that when I get over there. Yep, it takes a second. There is absolutely nobody else over here right now. This is all just me. I know this because when I've been cutting down trees, I'll have saplings and things fall, and they'll still be there when I warp back like the next day. So, yeah, there is nobody else around here right at this particular point. But as you can see, if you remember from the last stream, how much there was an entire dark oak forest here, and I have cut almost all of it down. I really need to flatten things out just to make it so that I can really get a good visual for what I've got going on here as far as the layout is concerned. It definitely helps being able to fly now, so I can get a better look from above. But yeah, there's a lot of hills that need to get marked out here. I'm going to be starting with the large nether portal, which is where the trains are going to end up coming out of from where I build this through. I'm thinking I'm just going to kind of back it up into this hill, so like the portal would be coming out from this, and then the trains would go out, and I'll have like a rail yard over in this direction, just where they would have all the switching for the cars and that sort of thing. There will be like a big platform for where people first arrive, kind of a small station where they can get off, goods are traded and that sort of thing, and like I said, then we'll have a rail yard that comes over this direction where the trains would park. We'll probably have a turntable on there so they can get turned around, get their cars hooked up to them as they readjust. This area is fairly flat, but I need to bring it down to a consistent Y level. And it's kind of hard to work with the terrain so much in this one, just because, especially building in a style that's off of the Victorian era British. When they had all their colonization and everything going on, they very much were all about, no, we're just going to transform the land to make it suit our purposes. They didn't do a lot of working with the land and that sort of thing, so that means I'm in for a lot of digging. But you can see this is the Y level I'm trying to bring it down to. One block above where the water level is, and I will probably flatten some areas that are right along the shoreline. Just to kind of contend with that. But this way I figure one block up, that gives me room for like flooring and that sort of thing. And then if I want to do paths down at that level, I can figure that out later, once I get into the main buildings. But this is where I need to dig all of this down to. So yeah, I'm up for a bit of a grind here. So this is going to be fairly chilled out stream, just kind of hanging out, doing a bunch of digging. So let's go ahead and jump right into things. Let's see here. Can I... Yes, I can reach on that height. Let me dig myself up. I don't really fancy flying up on that one. I'm just going to dig myself a ramp right here. And I want to give myself a stop point, just so I know where I need to quit digging at for the time being, or at least to reassess. This probably isn't going to be fully where it stops. Let's just see what we got out here. So I've marked out to here, and I may have to adjust my borders here. The nice thing being that there's nobody else really around right now, so I don't really have any neighbors to contend with at this particular point. And I tried to mark out a larger space than I thought I'd need, but I didn't necessarily know which directions needed to go to. And also because I had all the trees going on here, it was really hard to kind of anticipate all of that. Let's just dig out a trench this way, and just so I can kind of dig the hole. Oh, that falls down there. Okay. Try to avoid all the little trenches that go down in here. There's a lot of them. They kind of stretch out in this area. But let's just dig this shallow trench just to kind of mark out my spacing. And I will probably end up re-terraforming a lot of this later on. There we go. Okay. I think that's a decent enough starting point. And then as I go down, I think I had to go down, what, 3, 4 more blocks from here? We'll see where we're at once I get back over here. Because I had dug a couple of just marker trenches just so I knew what the Y level was. And yeah, I'm really just kind of getting things figured out. Okay, so it was 4 more. I think that'll be okay. Alright, let's start digging this out. And really, this whole thing is just to sort of get me my boundaries, just so I know where I need to dig to. I realize I probably should go ahead and get a beacon going. I definitely have enough iron from the iron farm where I could set one up. And I do have 3 wither skulls. I just have not gone and killed the wither just yet. I may decide to do that a little bit later this stream. But again, for right now, I'm just kind of figuring out where things lie. I suppose it really depends on how much dirt versus stone I have to dig up. If it's all just dirt, then it doesn't matter. My shovel, being the netherite shovel, it's already insta-mine. So I don't particularly care there that getting the beacon is, I can delay that a little bit. But if I have a lot of stone I need to chew through, like I have some for this hill, but I don't know how far in it goes. So we'll take a look at that and kind of see where it's at. But if I need a lot of stone, then yeah, I may go ahead and just get the wither killed and get myself my first beacon just to get that over with. But yeah, let's go ahead here. I am collecting all the resources as well. I'll show you once I have a full load to go dump off here. I have a bunch of chests, and I mean a bunch of chests of just where I'm putting all the resources, because I'm probably going to need most of them as I build up this base area. This is going to be a really huge area, and as you'll see by the space that I get kind of marked out and where I've started chopping down the trees. Let's keep going here. I gotta be getting the end soon. Can I just dig through and see how far out I am? Because they didn't have to dig that far. Just dig up above. Where is the end of this? Okay, yeah, I'm almost there. I'm like, I know that it's a little bit slower digging with the pickaxe, but it can't be that much farther. Oh, and apparently I am using the fortune pickaxe, not the silk touch, but that's okay. I don't have anything where I particularly... I've already collected a bunch of stone just from my digging I've had, so I don't need a whole lot of that. Okay, that brings me back here. Let's go ahead and dump that in just so I have a nice smooth walk place. I think I gathered everything else here. Alright, let's take to the air and see where we're at. And hi there, Mink, I see your wave. Trying to keep an eye on the chat here. Okay, so that gives me my markings. Much easier to see from the arrow. I am so glad I can fly. Oh, I've missed this. Okay. Yeah, that's going to be a massive area for some rail yards, which makes sense because trains are big constructs, especially in Minecraft, just to get them to fit. Okay, I'm going to try to get up here a little bit higher. Alright, so I'm figuring that comes out from the portal. We'll bring the switch yards up and around. And so we'll need a big station kind of coming out from here. And that does give me a little bit of a cross section there. But yeah, so much of this is just dirt. Well, dirt and grass. I think I can just focus with the shovel for a while without having to worry about getting my beacon just yet. Like I said, we may go on and do that later. But for now, let's just go ahead and dig this up. I do want to try and get most of this dug up as grass rather than dirt, if I can. Although, in the end, I just kind of need to get it dug up. I just feel grass is more useful than dirt. I mean, you can turn it into dirt very easily. But, I mean, you'll use the grass more for decoration and that sort of thing. Let's just sweep on through here. Let's see if I can get this all dug down to about the same Y level. Where are we at here? Okay. Yeah, and there you can see my collection of a chest monster for right now. That's going to have to get moved at some point once I bring things down to the Y level, everywhere else. But this will kind of get me going. And I'm just kind of swinging the shovel back and forth here. Cut some wide swaths to widen this out. Alrighty, so how's everybody else doing here today? I'm just kind of chilling out. I've had so much work I've had to do between the day job and the side job this week, so I'm just kind of looking to relax and chill. So I hope everybody else is doing okay. Oh, yep, we got more of these little tunnels that keep going around. There's like really shallow ones. They don't really go anywhere, at least none of the ones that I've checked out. They're just little holes that the mobs kind of poke into. Okay, yep, that's full. Let's go. Dump this out here. Gotta find a chest that's empty. Oh, geez, 1 a.m. I mean, don't get me wrong, I play Minecraft very late myself. But, yeah, it gets so hard to do that during the week, or at least when you're prepping for the new week, just to try and keep yourself awake for the day job and that sort of thing. I have probably stayed up later than I should have for a lot of this week. And I feel it because I have been sleeping a lot more than I really intended to this weekend. Like Friday night, I slept for almost 12 hours, just zonked out. Just have not been able to sleep at night, trying to get myself wore out to fall asleep. And today I slept in until like 1 in the afternoon. I ended up missing Scar's stream, unfortunately. Although he usually streams at 2 my time, so I guess he did stream a little bit earlier than usual. But yeah, I guess I needed it. I've just been so tired. District portal. Where are you? Let's see. Yeah, see, mine is all office work. Thankfully, I'm all work at home at this particular point, and I am so glad they had an announcement with this last week. They were originally planning on trying to get us back into the office next month, which, honestly, for my job, it's really dumb for them to do that. Even when we're in the office, I'm tech support for a bank, so I'm not working face-to-face with my users even when we're in normal operating conditions. We're in the office, and everybody is remote. They're at the various branches and that sort of thing, and I'm just remoting into their computers to do whatever needs to get done. So really, for me to go into the office, I don't gain anything from doing that. We lose literally nothing being working remote, at least for our department. For like the branches and that sort of thing, no, I totally get where you need to actually have some face-to-face interaction with clients for those sort of roles. But for us, it doesn't make any sense. But thankfully, they've reassessed, and they said, you know what, they're going to reassess it every 30 days, but for right now, they're keeping us just staying the course, working at home, and they said they're probably not going to even look to get us back into the office until sometime next year. So I'm so thankful for that. I mean, a lot of it, yeah, just with the whole COVID situation and everything going on, it's not been handled the best in this country, to be perfectly honest. And yeah, we still have a lot to go to try and get that all set up. But even just aside from that, I find that I'm so much more productive working at home. I can sit and I can focus and actually get things done. I've done so much more scripting for things, made useful utilities for us. Even outside, really, of my regular job roles, it's just I'm home and I can focus on this stuff, so I just get a lot more done. And I think things have run really smoothly for that. Yeah, see, like you say, you work better, in the office, which totally fine. If you do that, everybody works differently. I know a lot of the people on my team have expressed that they just miss seeing people and that sort of thing. I'm kind of antisocial. I guess I like certain people that I talk to, but I don't like dealing with people in general. I usually like dealing most with people where I have something in common with. So, doing the stuff like through Minecraft, going to like my gaming conventions and things that I go to all the time. Well, at least I did before all this stuff blew up on us. If we have some common ground, that then I can actually connect and enjoy talking with you. But just dealing with the general public, yeah, I mean, I'm fine. I'm sociable. I can deal with people. I do it every day because I got to deal with all the bank employees. But it's really just, I'm so much more comfortable if it's just I can pick who I'm associating with rather than just having to deal with the general public. So yeah, I really prefer to work at home. Yeah, see, for me, I actually do okay, because I am 90 degrees from my work computer. It is sitting off to my left right now. And so when I'm at work, my gaming computer is 90 degrees to my right. I have gotten myself set pretty well. I have that discipline where I can sit and focus on work when it's busy and I need to, just to be able to get things done. And it's all just a matter of individual on whether or not you can focus or not. Everybody's different. And everybody has those different types of just how you work the best. I don't have a problem with it, and honestly, I kind of do better having my gaming computer next to me, because I'll just be sat in my starter base, and I'll wait around every 15, 20 minutes or so when my villager trades reset. I'll just pop over and do that. Just having something like that to be able to do when it's quiet, I work much better that way, just because I have something where I can keep my brain firing. If I'm not sat and actually working actively on a call or talking with somebody, I'm not doing anything. So my brain just sits idle, and I just kind of want to fall asleep, or I get busy thinking about other things, and I just can't stay focused on the job. And then, okay, now there's another call. Now I got to jump back in. It takes my brain a minute to get fired up. Whereas if I can keep myself busy with something else, just something real idle, not something I have to get invested in, but something to just kind of keep the engine running. I find I work so much more efficiently once that it gets fired up, and I do have to start doing things again. If I was doing stuff more like I was coding, or where I have a task that it's not where I'm waiting for a call to come in, where I have something that I'm consistently needing to do, then I could say, okay, it's more of a distraction. For me personally, I can still work with that. Sometimes it helps for me to have something as a distraction, to just, again, something simple to do every 5 minutes, just to break up the monotony. It's like, okay, I'm sitting here coding, I'm doing whatever I'm working on, sit and work and do that for like a half hour, and then, okay, I need to take 5 minutes, do something else, get up, stretch my legs, look at something different than what I have been for the past half hour, and now I can jump back in, and now I'm fresh, and I find I can usually do that and keep going a lot longer that I can just continue barreling on and just continuing with it. So, again, that's just how I work. Everybody's different. Everybody has their own, and that's really all it is. It's just up to you to know yourself and know how you work the best. But yeah, I do know there's a lot of people, like if they have family or that sort of thing at home, there's always people constantly on to pop in and out, and yeah, sometimes that's hard to be able to contend with, just because it's not even distractions. It's not even you setting the discipline for yourself. It's other people coming and bothering you when you have work. And I think family always means well when that's going on, but they don't always seem to understand that, hey, I'm actually busy doing something. Just because I'm sitting here idle doesn't mean I'm not working, or thinking about something or that sort of thing. And they just kind of are focused on what they're doing, not necessarily what you're doing. And I mean, you can't really blame them for that, because people aren't psychic. They don't always know what you're up to. All right. Digging around the rest of the holes here. I have so many of these stupid little pits. I'm just going to, if I could get my mouse scroll to not mess up on me, throw that down. I'm going to take out the spider, and I think that's a zombie. Yep. Not a skeleton, so I can... Come on. There he goes. See? Stupid mouse scroll. I think one torch will take care of that. Yeah, see, like if you're working, in the office where you don't have those distractions, as I said, it's all just up to everybody. Everybody's different, and everybody has their own ways that they work the best, and it's just a matter of you having that discipline for yourself to figure that out. So, I mean, we all work differently. We all work better in different environments. But like I said, for me, I seem to be doing so much better working at home than I ever did in the office. And it's not that I was bad working in the office. I like the people I work with. It's not like I had problems with them or anything. I get along with everybody that's in my department just fine. I just tend to work better independently. And I think I've always been that way, even in school. I hated doing group projects and that sort of thing, and working with other people. I just kind of wanted to sit and do my own thing. That I just kind of get a mode where I want to go into, and I just get into a groove and just start, whipping through it. And I kind of do that with Minecraft too. As you can see with a lot of these things, where my bases have been, more independent and that sort of thing. Don't get me wrong, I do like doing shared projects with other people and contributing on some things, but I think for my main base, I don't know that I'd ever want to do a completely conjoined base with somebody. I like getting other people's input and having other people do some contributions for things, where it fits. But I think the overall base design I like having where it's just mine, and then I can work on it. I can do it my way. I can. And then I can just kind of sit and chill, and I can control the pace at where I want to go. Sometimes people get different ideas in their heads for things that they want to do, and someone else may get an inspiration to do a particular project in a different order than what you were ready for it, and it's certain things kind of they work better if they go up in a certain order, just because of how the inspiration gets laid out. Or again, that's just kind of how my thought process works. Alright, so we have been chipping away here. We're about 50% on the shovel. And I am trying really hard to make sure I don't burn this out, because this is my nice netherite shovel. I only have one at this particular point. It's not that expensive to get a new shovel brought up to speed. I've been, other than just getting the netherite again. Although, having the shopping district, we can buy that stuff. But yeah, I'm trying real hard not to run this thing out entirely. I keep going back to my main base, or my starter base, and just healing it up by selling to the villagers. Although I have not been able to AFK as much as I'd like to this past week. So my sweet berries that I've been trading to the butchers, the supplies there are starting to run out. It's starting to build back up. I've had some between last night and earlier today. I had some other work that I was getting going before the stream. So I've been building the stock back up. The foxes are working away as quick as they can, but obviously they can't work if the chunks aren't loaded. And I think fewer people have been online in the area to load the chunks for me, even when I'm offline. Alright, where are we at here? So I do have some more stone over here I'm going to have to contend with. This did have a little bit of a extra bump, so it makes sense why that had stone. Oh, yeah, we got the angry flaps coming. Let me see if I can dump this off before I warp home. I don't want to change my spawn just because this is so far away from everything else. So I'm really trying to just go home. Come on. Get out of there. Okay. Let's see if I can teleport before they come and smack me. Boo! Whoop! Alright, there we go. Yeah, grab myself a little bit of tea here while I'm resting up, and just need to pop into bed long enough to get the sleep reset. Okay, let's go pop in here. Oh, let's check and see how the foxes have been doing. Because I was idle for a little bit. Yeah, they've got a bit. They're continuing to chip away as fast as they can. And let's pop in with the villagers here. I have added some half slabs just to keep the iron golems out. It was getting ridiculous how many of them were showing up in here. Just really, really insane. Alright, wake up. I have to wonder how freaked out I make my villagers, if they were actual people. Because sometimes if I'm idle, I'll just be standing in the back there kind of waiting for their trades to reset. And they just kind of walking around doing their thing. I'm sitting there like holding my axe, waiting for them to fall asleep. And then I'll come around and I'll wake them up in the middle of the night still holding my axe, asking if they want to buy some berries. And it's just... I have to imagine they'd just be terrified of me. Did I get all of them? Yeah, he was the brown pants guy. I got the blue pants and the brown pants guys. Okay. So there's so you can see how much for emeralds I have. I have like 3 times enough emeralds to make a beacon. So I've definitely got plenty of resources for that. There's where the current stack is. Yeah, no, I still have golems going around. This was my little just quick redstone testing area that I was doing some things with. And they're popping in there, and there's some other ones down in the mine shaft. It kind of goes over this way. I just wanted them out of the trading area just so I could walk around. Like you can see there's one sitting right there. I'll keep coming through, and I'll whack them with a sword every so often. So I'm actually building up a stock of heads, so I have some of those. But yeah, that's where I've been there, is just kind of knocking those guys out. Actually, while I'm at it, let's just double check to see how much the iron stocks we have here. Now, this is going to look a bit low. Yeah, we're not doing too bad. Bear in mind, I took a full shulker load and put it into my ender chest. So you can see here, I've started organizing, but that's all full of iron blocks, and that's all been from this farm. And I think there's been even more than that produced, because Agent Undertaker, again, we're sharing this one, so I think he's taken some iron as well. But yeah, so you can see I have my Richides, I got my first redstone box, I'll probably have a second one eventually. Iron box, food box, and then these are just empty shulkers that I haven't organized just yet. I will get those dealt with eventually. I will probably just end up making those, organized, just by, sort of general boxes for carting stuff back and forth. Haven't gotten there quite yet, but we'll figure that out eventually. But yeah, okay, I think we are set there. Let's go ahead and get back to the warp point and see what else we can dig out here. And come on, waiting for the chunks to load. There we go. Okay, so now this area is nice and flat. I already had dug this out. There was a pretty sizable hill here, but this one's pretty much all set. So I could potentially start setting up some buildings there eventually. I don't know what I want to go where just yet, so that's part of the thing. It also helps, I suppose. It kind of helps and it kind of hinders things. There isn't an established map just yet for the game line for this area. There will be one eventually. But that leaves me free, at least as far as the Minecraft base is concerned, to kind of put things wherever I want to. I don't have to conform to a particular map. I mean, it would be a little bit nice just to have a little bit more direction, but at the same time, this being Minecraft and this being a multiplayer world, if it was single player, then yeah, I could just terraform it however I want, make it fit however I need. But since it's multiplayer, I can't quite do that. I mean, I still could, even though there's nobody really in that area. There would be a lot of terraforming to do, and I really don't want to completely, lock down an entire area just so nobody else could do anything with it. I have a sizable chunk here that I am taking up, yes, because I'm doing a mega base, but I still don't want to lock down all the areas around it I mean, especially when you're doing that sort of thing, you also have to worry about the skyline and looking out and the stuff away from the build. And I don't really want to lock all that down. I did run into a lot of that with Mos Eisley doing that last time, and my solution there to kind of clear things up was just to build the artificial mountains around, so that I wasn't really having to worry about other people's builds. I could just kind of put that barrier up between us. Kind of the old adage of good fences make good neighbors. So I didn't want to run into issues with other people's bases. I didn't want them to have to run into issues with mine. So just put up the barrier, and then that way it made it nice. There was a nice separation, and then I got to preserve my skyline within the theme of the base that I was building. All right, oh come on, the stupid. There it is. That's the only problem with Instamine when we're playing on this server is, just playing multiplayer, is you'll get those ghost blocks. And they just want to stick. They have definitely gotten a lot better from where they used to be, especially on Scarworld 1. And that first started, oh man, we had tons of ghost blocks. And I should know, because I had ran into them all the time getting sand. So it was just constant battle dealing with the ghost blocks. It's nowhere near as bad now compared to what it was. But they are still really annoying. Alrighty, so we've almost got this dug out. And I still definitely have more to dig down. This is still a few layers too high. But at least if it's flat, I can kind of get a better visualization of what the layout of things is going to be. And I did not realize how hilly this was when I first got in there. I probably should have, just because these forests are always hilly. Especially the dark oak ones. I don't think I've ever seen one that was really, truly flat. They always have a bunch of hills and the ups and downs just going throughout. But that's okay. The main reason I'm doing it I wanted to go either dark oak or jungle, just because I wanted that really vibrant looking grass. Like, even though the dark oak forest, it's kind of a dark green, it's still more vibrant looking than compared to like the plains. Like you can see here, because there's a little bit of slight plains biome in the middle. You can see where it's that little bit more pale. Versus, even in here, even though it's darker, it's still just a dark, rich green. It's much more saturated. I really wanted to have that look for the area I'm going for, it'll apply as well with some of the other terraforming and that sort of thing. You get that with the leaves and that sort of thing. I wanted it to have that really kind of rich look to it, just because this world that within the game world that it transforms to, it is kind of a lost world feel. There's just not a lot of industrialization that's happened here, and I think this is a kind of an appropriate environment to have, where just everything is all. We're popped into the middle of this lush green environment, and then you have the British Empire just popped into the middle of it, and we're going to have a bunch of metal and spires and industrial buildings and that sort of thing. Another ghost block popping up. So yeah, it's going to be kind of jarring, and it's intentionally where it's going to be kind of jarring to have that. I am going to have to design some walls here at some point, because they do have defensive walls set up around the city. And actually, in the game, they will have the big water-cooled Maxim guns on turrets up the top. Honestly, they're more of a show of force than anything. They are so... They put out such a rate of fire that they're not even particularly wieldy to use. But, oh, I still have my armor off. That could have been bad. Let's go ahead and pop that back on. But yeah, I'm going to have to figure out something for those like tripod mount Maxim guns and to do a design for them in Minecraft. I may have to rely on using the custom heads just to get something in the right scale. But I can do that, and I learned to do that last time. Alright, so some more grass to flatten off here. Let's pop back up in the air again. And this is right next to the world border. You can see that I'm flying along here. I did intentionally pick that just because this way I think I'm like right at build height there. Hopefully this will... come on, load back in. There we go. So I still have some dark oak forest over here to contend with. We'll deal with that in a little bit. We need to flatten that hill. Because I don't necessarily have to bring everything down to the same Y level, and I probably won't. I will want there to be a little bit of height variation in some of the buildings and that sort of thing. That would conform a little bit to the landscape, but I don't want a lot. Again, I want to give this much more of a worked land. They've come through and they've made this land work the way they want it to. So I'm really looking to do that kind of look. That means a lot of terraforming for me, because I'm going to have to pull a lot of things out. But that's part of the project. One of the advantages is that things are going to be fairly open for a lot of this area. I don't have to worry too much about what's going where. And this is going to be, like I said, if it's going to be a rail yard, there's not going to be a lot of nice fancy terraforming and that sort of thing going on here. It's going to be have a very cold industrial sort of look to it. I will probably end up, if anything, I'll probably just end up putting a bunch of gravel down. Let's get this tree out of the way. And the leaves can just despawn there. Alright. So yeah, we need to bring some more of this down. And like I said, I'm just kind of going around in stages and building it. I'll cut down in one space and then go over and cut in another one, just to try and get the grass spread as much as I can. Again, I feel grass is much more useful as a block to have in supplies than just the plain old dirt. So I would rather build up my stock with grass than with dirt, and then I can just keep that within my chest monster over there. And again, eventually that will get built into get moved into lower storage and then to a proper storage system. I'll do the big item sorter. I'll probably do another big warehouse build, kind of like I had in the last server. Not the exact same setup. They wouldn't quite have access to the same. I mean, within the game world, they do have access to airships, so that would be a thing. But they would have an actual airfield. I don't think that's going to be too present really within the storage facility itself. It's going to be much more of a sort of traditional warehouse look. All right, cut this part down here. And just trying to bring everything down to at least the same level so I can get a good look at the layout. And so far my shovel's holding up pretty well. Yeah, these netherite tools definitely are even better than diamond as far as the durability is concerned there. I had to repair this a lot less than I would have had to repair an equivalent diamond tool. I may end up getting some, even without going netherite, I may end up getting some extra diamond shovels eventually. Just enchant them up again, just to have the extra tools so I don't have to make the trip back so often. I should probably spend some of my time at one of the skelly grinders. I still need a ton of bows to make dispensers, because I do still have plans to make the big map auto clear and get that set up. So I've talked to some of the people that have skilly grinders. They said they're fine with me taking some of the bows when I'm there, and they're saving some up for me when they're doing their enchants. So I definitely do appreciate that. But yeah, I need like 46 stacks, if I remember my counting correctly, on how many stacks of dispensers to go there. So there's a lot that I'm going to have to go through. Alright, let's see, because this is all plains, but again, if I'm doing more gravel, rail yard look, that I don't have to worry so much about the grass color here. This one I'm okay with making that look, and it is going to be a little bit dirtier, so it's fine if that's paler, so I think that's a good choice to put the rail yard there. There definitely is a lot of stone there, and I will want to contend with that. But there's still a lot of dirt. I'm going to give that time to go through, and yeah, there's a couple of layers of dirt that I can just, kind of look at this as the cross section. There's like 2 to 3 layers of dirt that I can get there before I'm really hitting the stone. Let's see, how does this look? Let's go ahead and bring this upper layer down, because this is all pretty much filled in. And I'll leave a little bit of dirt here, or grass here, just so it can spread on the other areas, even though that's really getting into the stone. we will contend with that later. And just keep swinging this around. And sorry if I kind of zone out here. Like I said, I am just looking to really kind of chill, and I'm just kind of focused on digging this hole. Well, not necessarily a hole, just digging up all the dirt and flattening things out. Actually, having it as a stone base, especially for the rail yard, will probably be a good thing, because that's going to be more the look I'm going for. I think most of what I'm going to end up populating in there will be more just adding extra flavor. I can throw some gravel and that sort of thing, because it would make sense for them to have had gravel in there. You'd want that more for drainage, so you're not getting mud and that sort of thing around where the train rails are. You definitely don't want to have those sitting in there with the weight of trades going through. You want to have a nice solid ground to go over, so it needs to not really be that compressible. And dirt does compress quite a bit, especially when it gets wet and you get a lot more runoff. Whereas gravel, once it's finally compacted down, am I full? Yes, I am. Let's go pop that over. Once you get gravel compacted down, especially just over time, it really doesn't drop any further, just because it's more of heavier rock and that sort of thing, heavier compared to dirt. Let's see. So yeah, if anybody on the server needs to get a bulk deal on some grass or dark oak, let me know, because I would be willing to trade for some things. I'm going to need some other supplies to build up stuff. I will probably need a lot of the stone, again, just because I'm going for more of that sort of industrial look. So we'll probably use a lot of the stone variants and that sort of thing. I'm probably going to end up using a lot of brick as well. I need to get some more stonemasons brought in here. I have a couple of them, and I'm starting to build up some supplies, just between brick and quartz. Quartz more for the detailing. You'll get that a lot more on like your dormers and just your outlines for the windows, all the different trim markings and that sort of thing. So it makes sense to have the quartz, because you can get all your stone slabs, or your quartz slabs and stairs and that sort of thing. All right. Yeah, I think I got enough durability. I can just take down this mound here. Let's go ahead and bring this layer down. I'm just going to kind of cut it through the middle for the moment here. And this is probably going to generate a bunch of seeds that I don't need. I generate plenty of those from my small little wheat field at the starter base. And exposing a lot of water. Thankfully, they've all been really small little pools here. Nothing really, not like a big lake or anything to contend with. So I can just fill in some dirt and then dig it back out later, and that gets rid of the water, just so I kind of get it out of the way. I have a river right over to the side, so it's not like I'm running short of water. I did run into that a lot with the base last time. My main source of water that I used was the bubble vader going up and down from my mine. I just didn't have, it was in the middle of a desert. I didn't have water around. And, water is actually fairly useful for a lot of things. In particular, I kept running into problems with it when I was trying to undye the leather when I was, filling in for all my armor stand work. Which is also something I knew I needed to set up in here eventually. Alright, let's keep going down here. Alright, that's got most of it. There's a little strip left, but I'm about full. Let's go dump this off real quick. Oh boy, he's SCD's coming in to do some lag busting. which probably means killing off a bunch of things. Alright, oh, we're going to have a plugin change, so we're probably going to have to deal with a reboot here. Yeah, I got a little bit more durability here. Yeah, I kind of have to get used to how much more durability I have. You know, even though I'm in the orange, I can dig up a lot more now compared to what I was able to before when I was in the orange level. Yeah, like that, definitely not a problem. Alright, so let's go pop around here, pick up all my dropped items. This is also to help try and clear some things up from the lag, just so I don't have items stuck laying around. But also because I am not a wasteful person. I don't like wasting anything, really. I like to store all this stuff. Even if I don't ever need it, just having it in there, I already dug it up once. I don't feel like going and mining out a bunch of dirt again somewhere else when I had a bunch before, and I just let it despawn. I really prefer to just kind of have it set in even if I got to build a couple extra chests to store it. That's less of a hassle to me versus having to go out and dig more up later. I just like having those resources. Again, it may not even be me that needs it. I may have trade it for somebody else. I like having those resources to be able to just have to hand. Oop, fell in a hole. But yeah, just for other people when they need it. To be able to grab. Alright. So, little hole there. I'll fill that in with some dirt. Did I fall in a hole that doesn't have a ledge? Yes, I did. But I can fill it with this. I don't know that I'm going to have enough to do the hole entirely. Ooh, just enough. How about that? That was nice and lucky. Alright. So there's that. We'll let the grass fill in there. Oh, we got a little hill here I can bring down. Yep, we're going to have a reboot. That's okay. The server comes back real quick after the reboots here, so we should be alright. Okay. Let's go ahead and take this down. Yeah, that's pretty much the end of that layer. That's all going to be stone to take down, which means I'm going to need... Yeah, that's a lot of stone. There's another hole that goes down. Alright, I think after, let's go ahead and warp home before we reboot. Should have just enough time to pop in there. There we go. Okay. We'll let the server restart, and I'm going to try and heal up my shovel. We'll see what we can get put in there. Restart is going to take a little bit longer for this reset. Okay, well, shouldn't be too big of a deal. And we'll go ahead and disconnect. We'll just kind of chill here for a moment while the reset goes through, so apologize for the break, but, admin work, it has to get done. I work in IT too, so I definitely get it. So yeah, we'll give that a chance to kind of go through here. But yeah, just kind of scrolling back through the chat. Yeah, Netherite does have it is about 500 durability more than what the diamond tools are. But and I haven't tested to confirm this, but just the hardness, I think, with the netherite, I think it's the Unbreaking 3 enchantment is more effective on netherite compared to diamond. And again, I don't know how exactly the mechanics work there. I haven't tested to confirm that, but it just seems like even beyond that 500 durability, I think the netherite stretches even longer once it's been fully enchanted up. That's just kind of my feel for it. So I suppose we'll see how that goes as time goes on. But yeah, then just talking about trades. So yeah, I figure people will have things they'll want to trade for eventually. So when you get things, just let me know. We'll see what happens when we run into it here. As that, I like having those resources to be able to trade for as people need them. Let's give it a try here. I got a feeling it's not going to come up yet. Nope, not there yet. Okay, we'll give this one a little bit here. Yeah, just going through the back scroll. Yeah, deal with ghost blocks. Like I said, I think it's been less this season than we had compared to last season. They were really hard. Yeah, there was just a ton of ghost blocks. Again, that may also have just been because of how much sand mining I was doing compared to here. Right now, it's all just dirt mining, really, that I've had to deal with. I think we're caught up with the chat here. Let's see. Are there any other pokes on the Discord? Seeing if we get any new items to go here. And again, I'm just kind of filling time until the server finishes resetting. And there's some more talk about pathways for the shopping district. I think it's 81 listed. Wow, that's significant. And I don't know if they changed the location of the server or what the deal is there. I don't think my ping has been that much different as far as my end is concerned. Although I don't think we saw a huge amount of difference for those of us within the U.S. I think there was some difference last time compared to with the East Coast compared to like everywhere else. But I'm not sure. I don't know where the server's housed or anything like that. Not privy to those sort of that sort of information. So. Okay, so that would make sense why I'm not really seeing a huge difference, because that's probably, well, I don't know if that would be equidistant for me or not. It probably is a little bit closer for me now, depending on where exactly it was in Germany. I mean, you get across the ocean, but I'm in the Midwest, so yeah, I suppose it probably would be a bit closer for me on my end. Yeah, because I'm just outside of Chicago. Let's see. Oh, good. There we go. Oh, and a modification with the sleep mod. Well, let's go ahead and pop in here. We will see what the new stuff looks like. In general, I do love this plugin compared to the one we had last season, where it was just you get enough people in to sleep and then just insta day. Whereas now it's just it's accelerating the night, but it's not actually. I mean, even when we got to the later section, did I just get XP? Why am I sparkly? But. Okay, I think the sparkle stopped. I don't know what that was about. We'll have to see what happens there. We'll see what happens with that later. Alright, let's see if my villagers reset at all. I'm curious if anybody else is around. A little bit, but I don't think that was anything significant. Let's see if anybody's around. I'll load these guys for their trades to reset. Because I am going to... Okay, the villagers are still asleep. There you go. Let's see. You have not been around to reset your trades, and you're probably going to run out of things. Okay. Pump that off because I do need to get some health here. I do need to keep buying things from you guys. Okay, you're the toolsmiths. Where are my masons? I got a blue pants mason. There he is. Let's go ahead and get some quartz and some bricks. And I got a brown pants mason. Where is he? There he is. You will get that and that. And just keep working on building up the stock here. Put my bricks into blocks. And see, that already got me into yellow. Alrighty, how are we doing here? Is there anything else I really need to pick up at this point? I mean, I could buy some more shovels off of him. What's the... Are you the other toolsmith? Alright. Okay, so they just removed an entire plugin. Okay, well, we'll figure out that one here. But no, that is the way you got to do with the troubleshooting things, is you just slowly start eliminating things until you figure out which one's causing the problem. I don't think it's worth it picking up some other shovels, at least not ones that basic yet. So we'll leave that be for the time being. Here's my brick box. I'll throw you guys in there. Oh, I suppose let me double check and see. Did you restock yet? Nope. Okay, we can warp back in the middle of the day. Let's go ahead and... Oh, did they remove the home command? Ooh, that's a pain in the backside, because my base is so far away. Okay, well, I'm not going to, even with wings, to try and fly back and forth there. I don't have another tunnel set up just yet. Oh, that completely throws off my stream. Because that's all I had planned, was just to warp back and forth there. There's no way I'm going to be warping back and forth. Going back there manually. That's going to be a huge pain. Okay, well, we'll figure something else out to do. Let's see here. Let's take a look, I suppose. We'll just check up on some of the other farms. Good, you've been gathering honey. I added some bottles into the dispenser there so that I'm getting honey, not just the honeycomb. Well, let's see. Are there any other projects that I needed to go over? I suppose I can go over the one we did for Scar's birthday here. Let me pop over this way. It's not even worth going to the nether. It's so close. And this will show you just how close I am to spawn, even physically. I mean, you could see it before. Okay, well, if it'll load, there's spawn. So I am within view of spawn. If you pop up there, you can see how close I am there to where that is. But just over this way, we set up a birthday cake for Spawn. I did do so. I tweeted this out with screenshots with my shaders on. But yeah, just to kind of show it off here. And this was just kind of a last-minute idea when I found out it was Scar's birthday. I didn't even know this ahead of time. But yeah, we just kind of set up the... just set up little presents for him here, and a little celebration. They said that Boston cream was his favorite type of cake, so they set this up and just used the bone blocks for the cream, and I guess orange concrete powder and that it usually has chocolate dripping off of it. So that was the closest we could get was with the dark oak trapdoors. I mean, that is the one thing they are good at, is looking like chocolate. So, and yeah, we didn't have everybody's head. We had everybody's head in that helped with the build, but we didn't have everybody on the server's head available. Whenever we get around to the next build tour, we got a button here for Scar to hit for some fireworks too, so that'll be fun to show off. But let's take a quick look around then. I guess I'll just do some tours here and show off some of the builds. This looks absolutely amazing. I did see this when we were building this up. I love how this place is kind of coming together. I like this style. And you kind of have the sort of Netherlands-looking windmill there. That looked really cool. Let's see. I didn't notice this one before. Very simple starter house, but nifty looking. That one there, similar, just with the... let me pop up over here. Just using the cobblestone. Yeah, that's very old school Minecraft, but hey, it works. You work with what you got. Alright, let's pop over here. Yeah, that was an interesting style, kind of building within the savannah, and I suppose it makes sense with the environment. There were some other cool houses over here, if I remember correctly. There was somebody building a castle in the swamp. Or at least on the edge of it. Yes, it's not quite in the swamp. But I kind of want to do the Monty Python reference here. If they build further into the swamp, I definitely will. Because they said it was deaf to build a castle in the swamp, but I built it all the same, just to show them. Alright, let's see. It would help if the chunks would load. Come on, wake up here. Waiting for half the world to load here. Alright, come on, you need to wake up here. Because that's the direction for the rest of the shopping district and my starter house. And I was just there. I don't know why these chunks aren't loaded. There we go. Here we go. Now I'm in. Let's take off again here. And again, the chunks just don't want to load. I don't think turning that plug-in on, at least as far as chunk load is concerned, I don't think turning that plug-in off helped. Alright, well, I suppose, since I'm sitting here idle, I do need to eventually figure out what I want to do with the top of this tower. Because there is an image I'm working off of to try and get this set. But yeah, I don't know. Well, you know, I know what I can do. So, wait a minute. Why is there an Enderman on the stair blocks? I didn't think they could teleport to those. I thought they couldn't teleport to transparent blocks. Or maybe it's just leaf blocks that they can't teleport to. And he's got sand. Thankfully, I don't have to chase these guys down for stealing sand anymore. I don't care. I don't need sand for my builds, so it's whatever. Well, since I don't really have my build that I can do, I suppose we can see about killing a wither. Let's get some stuff together for that. I don't want to use that sword. So let's get an El Cheapo sword. Actually, you know what? I might already have some unenchanted here. Yep, and they have reached the same conclusion that the plugin was not the thing. Alright. Yes, I have some swords. What can I get on this one? Let's see if I can get through some of the crappy enchants, because I actually would like to have smite for this one. Let's just throw that on just to get it used up. See if I can get a smite 4. Breaking 3. Don't think that's going to do what I want. And I will de-enchant these later. And I only want this one. Looting 3. Not what I'm going for there. Come on. How hard is it to get smite? It's one of the things you never want until you actually need it. Smite 1. Let me double check my books. I don't think I had a smite book. Sharpness 3. Nope. Fire protection. Sharpness, efficiency 4. Oh, I do have smite 4. Okay, never mind. I am doing. And it's, or do those go? No, it does go up to 5. Okay, so I suppose having smite 4 or 5 would be useful. Let's go for it. Let's see what we can find here. Alright, yeah, none of those are particularly useful. We're just going to use these up for some crappy enchants. Aha! That's what I want right there. Okay. So we're going to hang on to that. I'm going to throw these in here just for now. I will worry about disenchanting them later. Put that and that away. We need some XP. Yeah, we need XP for several things. See, I like having sharpness for general use, just because it's more useful against a wider variety of things, but if I'm fighting the Wither, I definitely want smite. That is a very specific thing that I need it for. Let me back that up a little bit. I will still go ahead and try and get some repairs off of this as well. But let's see if I can get... See, now they're all wanting to buy berries. Come on. There's the one with the trade. And you got trade. And you got the trade. Oh, wait, what am I doing? I need to buy blocks. I need to buy bricks from you too, don't I? Buy that, and we'll buy that. Let's go ahead and get these put away. Here's my quartz, there's my bricks. Let's put those away for now. So we're going to want some cheap gear. Stuff that I don't mind losing. So let's go. Let's just turn all that to emeralds. Where's the armor guy? That's fine. That's fine. There. Okay. And I'll see if I have extra levels, if I can get some quick, easy enchants there. We already got swords from you, so I'm not worried about that. I got more arrows around. I can probably use that for the bow. I think we'll be okay there. Oh, good. And my shovel's fully repaired. Okay, that's fine. We'll deal with that for now. I still need some more levels. I do have some ores saved up, so let's see what I can grab here. I'm not going to worry about that because I'm not going to worry about stuff I have to smelt. Let's get... No, then I have to smelt. Getting used to the nether ores where I can just grab from them. Let's see here. That might be most of my ores. Oh, get a little bit of redstone there, a little bit there, a little bit of quartz. That's better if I smelt it, so better if I hold off on that one. And I don't have a super fast super smelter array, so I'm not going to get a whole lot of XP from those. I don't think I have anything in these at the moment. That's where I was storing a bunch of bows, but I crafted those to dispensers already. Oop, I saw some coal ore there. The coal there. Alright, that's about all that I got for that. Let's stack these up here. And just stacking up anything that could have some XP in it for me here. Try and gain some quick levels. And whatever. And that is there. I don't have any armor on to absorb this. Let's see what we can get. My pickaxe does have mending, so that's going to soak up a little bit of this, but not the end of the world. Alright, we're up to 25. I need 30 to get that enchant for the sword. Oh, and we're doing another restart here. Putting our plugins back. That got me 1.5 levels, I think. Not very much at all. Oh well, I'm just going to dump these in here for the time being. Alright. Well, I suppose I'm going to wait for the next restart, so we'll see what we get here. Worst case scenario when this comes back, if my warp points are established, or at least as long as we can warp again, then yeah, let's be able to bounce back and forth there. So, yeah, we're just waiting for the restarts to finish here. Well, let's see how long this takes here. And yeah, so far I've been caught up with the chat, so I'm just kind of chilling out here waiting for the restart to finish. Honestly, if I knew he was going to be doing a bunch of maintenance on things, I wouldn't have even bothered streaming just because of the interruptions. But you live and you learn. I mean, it's not like we're doing the whole Hermitcraft thing where people are actually making a living off of this. So yeah, he can't. FCD can't control when people are going to be streaming. He's got to do stuff when he's got time. So no, that's totally fine there. Oh, let's see. We'll give it a try here. I doubt that it's back. Oh, hey, look at that. It actually is. Boom. Okay. Good time frame then. Let me make sure. Yeah, those are my good ones. Those are. I still need to enchant these up more, but let's go ahead and put my good stuff on. Alright, let's see what other traits I can get from my villagers here. Unfortunately, my librarians don't have paper trades. Otherwise, I would be crafting up a bunch of paper to sell them. And I'm avoiding getting more librarians at this point. I want to move them all to where my main base is, just to keep the lag that they would cause out of there. So I'm keeping this at a minimum until we get to that point. I'm just looking to see if anybody has anything else that I need. Yeah, I can get more of that. Let's go ahead and take this off again. Alright, where's my blue pants? Mason, there he is. See, that alone get me more XP than the whole mining for ores thing. And I mean, granted, I didn't have that much for ores, but still, the amount of XP you get off of villagers is ridiculous. I suppose it's always worth getting some more. Why am I grabbing you? I need these guys here. I can buy some more pork chops. It's worth just keeping my food supplies stocked up if I just need to get XP. I think you... No, you had chicken. I thought I had one more that sold pork chops. There's 30. Okay, good enough. We'll do that. Get the food box, and we'll put those in there. Well, no, I need a stack to keep with me. Apparently I still have an emerald. There you go. Okay, let's go get that sword taken care of. And before I try and teleport out of here, I'll see if I don't know if the warp points are restored yet. As long as the thing's active, I don't mind flying back over there, but I don't want to fly back and forth for the entire time to do that. That just seems ridiculous. Okay, oh, I need that stuff. Throw you on. Thankfully I didn't lose that. Ooh, that's actually not a bad enchant. Not bad at all. And we're just going to call this the Withered Sword. I don't particularly care about throwing anything else on it right now. That's fine. I already had Diamond Gear. I don't know why I bothered with that. Yeah, let's go ahead and disenchant this. Blast protection. I think blast protection works against the wither, so that should be okay. I don't care so much about that. Let's see, what enchantments do you get? Yeah, you're not better than that one. And then what do you give me? Ranking 3. Do I have any other shoes in here? Now, you know what? That one's better than the other one here. I'm gonna... because I think blast protection does work against the wither. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I think it does help against the whole exploding heads thing. So I'm going to throw those in there. The only thing I don't have enchanted then are shoes. Let's double check my books. I do have just standard protection for... if I remember correctly, enchants for this were junky. And where did I put my books? There's my books. What does the book give me? Yeah, let's just go with that. I think I'll have enough for here. There. Not the best gear, but it doesn't need to be. That can be very crappy stuff. Alright. I'm going to go down... before I mess with killing the wither, because I do have a plan for that, but once I get around to it eventually. But I'm just going to set this stuff in there for the time being. I will need a better shield when I go to do that one. Alright, let's put you in there. Let's see if I can go back. It looks like it's going to work. Yes, okay. I don't have to worry about killing the wither right now, but we're set up for it once I get around to that particular point. Okay, let's see what things are looking like over here now. Got a hill here I can knock out real quick. Get the stream back on track for where I was originally planning on doing, even though I'm not planning on doing anything terribly exciting. I may still say the heck with it and go to kill the wither when I go to wrap up here tonight, so yeah, you might be able to look forward to that sort of excitement, I guess. Like I said, I think half the fun of watching me stream is watching me derp. Alright, just knocking this portion down. Okay. I was just about to say, I'm not gliding. Why? I don't think I have my armor put back on yet. Okay. Let's back with that on. There's a bunch of small hills over here. That was natural terrain generation. I don't know why that happened that way. Some very short but steep hills. Let's just get these kicked out of the way here. Because there's not hardly anything to these. Not really even worth waiting for the grass to spread on those. Just get them knocked down and out of the way. Yeah, come on, back up. I may change my mind on that, but let's just see if we can get these kicked out of here. I'm sorry. I saw it. I had to do that. And now it's going to be stuck in everyone else's head. So you all have to suffer with me. I think most of us grew up at least at some point going through the 90s. So yeah, we should all know what's going on there. Oh, jeez. Okay. See, yeah, you all have to suffer with me. If I had to think of it, then yes, everyone else is going to. It's like playing the game. Which, if you're not familiar with it, hello, you're not playing the game. Which means you've lost the game. Come on, you stupid ghost blocks. See, like I said, you all have to suffer with me. This is the point of playing with other people, so that you're not suffering alone when these things happen. Was it just me, or did I just have a speed boost walking through there? That was weird. Maybe my finger slipped and I hit control, I don't know. That was a strange one. Okay, filled up again. Pop over to the chest monster. This is going to get really, really unwieldy by the time I'm done with it. Oh, wow. I thought it was bad just with all the trees I chopped down. Now this is going to get even worse. The good news here is I'm going to have some gravel, and that's always useful. I am so glad they added that for the trading with the piglins. That just makes life so much easier, having a renewable source of gravel. Now we need to do that for sand, so that we don't have to keep digging up mining deserts. See, I'm in favor of making a change like they had on the Psycraft server, where you can have husks that will have a chance of dropping sand. That would give an actual reason to have husks in the game, because really, if you think about it, there's no point in them. They are just the same mob with a different skin, and with zombies. There's nothing really special about them. But if they drop sand, now we have a reason for them. And then you could set up a farm to just collect the husks, just to farm sand. That would be so much more useful. You know, I may be biased because I had to deal with those little jerks, you know, all through last season, you know, having, you know, my base in the desert, but I feel that also makes me qualified to say, you know, certain things about the desert and just what would be useful to expand out on that biome. I seriously doubt Mojang's listening to my streams. So, I mean, the Hermits, yeah, they listen to that, and you know, a lot of the features they talk about, they get put in there. I seriously doubt Mojang's going to find my stream, and I don't think they ever will. I don't intend on getting famous off of this. This is just a way for me to waste time. I don't really intend on getting famous ever. I know there's a bunch of people, and a lot of times people when they're young, they always talk about wanting to be, you know, famous and have everybody know them, that sort of thing. I don't like having people know me that much. And I grew up in a small town, so I'm used to having a ton of people just know me, and I have no idea who they are. I think it's just because so many people knew my parents, so they know me through them. But I don't know them. They'll just come up and talk to me, you know, like, you know, hey, how's it going? How's your family? That sort of thing. And, you know, I'll sit and have conversations. But, like, if I had friends with them, they'll, you know, after the person leaves, they'll ask me who that was. And I'll be like, I have no idea. That's just, I don't know. There just gets this, yeah, see, later, J-Rod, thanks for joining in. And, yeah, hopefully you get a chance to catch me here at some other point when we get time to stream. But yeah, no, it's really weird when people come up to you off of the street and it just act like they know you, and they may know of me, but I don't know them. I don't know how common that is for other people, like in other regions of the world, or even just, you know, more populated like cities and that sort of thing. But yeah, having grown up in a small town in the Midwest, that happens all the time, and I just have to kind of be used to, you know, when I'm there. People are going to come and walk up to me. I kind of like where I'm at now because I'm a little more populated city that's farther away from where I grew up. And yeah, people don't know me here. And I really like that. I kind of like having that anonymity. I suppose I kind of do the bit of Roy from the IT crowd of, I don't like people. And I don't know if anybody's ever watched that show, but I absolutely love that show. I live that show like every day of my life. I could not tell you how many times a day I have to ask people if they've tried turning it off and on again. It really is a catchphrase for IT. But it's also amazing how many times that works. Alright. Oop, I should probably eat. Alrighty. So this hill is almost knocked out of the way here. How's my inventory doing? Almost full. I think I can finish off this layer. Okay, yeah, so I got, what, 3 layers left to go there. Yeah, those hills are definitely have a lot to them. You know, let's get this gravel out of here. So glad I have Silk Touch on here. Flint has a couple of uses, but it's not great to have in large quantities. But gravel is so much more useful. I mean, especially just since, concrete was added. That's probably been one of the best additions that the game has had in quite a while. I suppose there's some other ones that I could say are a little bit better, but as far as building is concerned, just having that to add to the color palette, that is so useful. I mean, the color terracotta is nice, but it always has that bit of a red tint to it, and you just could never get the true colors, and wool has the texturized to it. So, yeah, I mean, you could build color things with wool, but it looks like it's a colored thing made out of wool. It doesn't look like blocks. Not every build needs to look like a blanket. Alrighty. I am probably going to have to warp home here. I am filled up on cobblestone. Yeah, I'll keep chipping away at it. We'll see how long I can deal with the undead. Let's just throw those handful of blocks in here. See, I'm almost filled up on those again. And I am purposely not building a bed out here so that I don't change my warp point to both be out here. Again, I don't have another tunnel set up for this area yet, so it's going to happen eventually, but I'm going to have to extend out the main tunnel, or someone is. It'll probably be me, because I don't think anybody else is really based out in this direction. And I'm going to need to extend out the main tunnel just so I can get villagers out here. If I remember the way the layout in the tunnel is going to go, I have to build it out, and then I'm going to have to make a big leg right off of the tunnel that I end up extending through. Because I am what? I think that is the northern barrier over there. So this would make this east. So I'm very, very far northeast of where spawn is, and thus northeast of where my current base is. Alright. What was that? How are we doing? I think I got 2 more layers. Yes, 2 more layers. Oh, hello, Bob. Let's see if I can take you down. Okay, lag's a little bit improved there. Yeah, let's go after you with the looting sword. There we go. Gonna need some of that sweet, sweet gunpowder. And eventually those trees are gonna go as well. I'm just not terribly worried about it right at this point. Just because I need to kind of get things started where I can build buildings, and then I can expand the area out from there as I go. Alright. How's about you? Let's go ahead and knock this down. Get this layer of grass cut out. Oh, yeah, Doctor, I definitely have had it where my first warp point sets off of my bed. And then I have the second one is wherever I designate it to be. And, yeah, sleeping in the bed will reset it. So, no, it definitely does do that. At least it has on mine. Unless one of the updates changed that, I'm not sure. But I don't want to run the risk of it because I am way the heck out here. I am right over there. You can see just along the edge there is where the world border is. So, yeah, I don't want to have to go all the way back. Last time I checked it, mine still changed. I mean, I can try it later and see, but either way, I'm not risking it right now. It's not that big of a deal. I can just warp and to go home and sleep. Alright, can I pick up these blocks? Come on. There you go. I mean, either way, having that warp function, I have gotten a lot of use out of that. And I think that's going to be a major use for carrying stuff back and forth to other projects and that sort of thing. That has been a really useful utility. It is a little bit limited since we only have 2 points, but I understand why they're wanting to limit it. Okay. This is all pretty much grass spread. I suppose I can just knock this level down. Let's go ahead and bring this layer on down here. And I will probably have to make more chests after this. Now, if I were being smart, I would probably start making chests down lower so I have less to move later. But I'm probably going to be more lazy and just do them there and then just move them all in one mass later. Thankfully, it's not as big of a deal with shulkers. Okay, no, that wasn't gravel. Let's go ahead and get this cut down. This is gravel. I think that one will cut around the other edge there. Oop, did not mean to glide up there. Let's just dig this down and expose the stone. Why could I not get that one piece of dirt? There we go. Alright. Just keeps... Am I full? No, I'm not. See, I don't know how you would get 3 home points unless you just had another one that goes inactive, or if there's something else going on with it. I haven't really tried setting another point, so I'm not sure if I can. I'm just sticking with the rules that they wrote, keeping that as intended. I'm not intentionally trying to break things. Enough things get broken on their own. I don't need to try to do it. Alrighty. How's the inventory doing? Might fill up with this run around. Yep, I am full of grass. Alright. Oh, hey, look at that. I don't have to make another chest just yet. Very soon. Apparently there's a bunch of blocks out here that didn't get picked up. Get it all? Yes. Okay. Let's get this patch knocked down. Alrighty. I suppose that... See, with the change in the grass color, I didn't even realize that this extended all the way over here. I mean, I suppose it's a good thing that I'm getting into the thicker layers where I'm just taking out more down at each sweep. And this is also a good thing for me to actually be able to visualize things better. Okay, yeah, I still got enough. And should have plenty of durability to knock this down. And we'll go ahead and leave the horse for now. I don't think there are any other horses around here. I mean, I suppose this is probably a natural spawn point for them, but I haven't seen any others. And I didn't kill them. I mean, I've killed a lot of things for their heads, but the horses aren't one of them. I mean, horses do make the most awful noise when they die in Minecraft. Mumbo is 100% right on his assessment for that for his prank house. Oh, those things sound awful when they die. Yeah, that's going to do it for there. And yep, I don't really see a lot more for chests. Okay. Let's get that. Get that. I'm just going to craft a couple of them for now. Okay, that wasn't where I intended to put it, but fine. The grass got in the way. See, I'm not a fan of tall grass. I mean, it works fine for when you need it specific spots terraforming, but I hate building around it and clicking on it. Yeah, now this is all flat, you can see the different grass pattern and just how the biome lays out. But given how this area is going to be kind of a Lost World setup, I thought this would work really well using the new nether plants between the fungus trees and that sort of thing, because they'll look like they're in a foreign environment. So in those areas where the grass is different, I'll probably end up going with the types of nylium and put that down. Alright, so we're starting to be able to visualize here. Getting an idea for what I want. Let's see, grass is still spreading here. And I will try to do that in a different section so that it has a chance to finish spreading. Let's see, what do we got over here? Not a lot left to spread this side. Since my other hill there. So I could be able to dig this level down. I don't think I'm going to have enough durability on my shovel to get this entire thing, but I can get a decent chunk taken out of it. Just gotta keep an eye on it because we're just starting to jump into the orange. Let's just dig up to the rock here. Yeah, after this point we're really getting into a lot of the stone layers, and this is where I'm going to need the beacon for to get this out of the way quickly. Thankfully, when it comes to getting up the stone, I've got two netherite picks. I've got one for Silk Touch and one for Fortune, and that's just with my normal tools. So having that, I think that should make it very easy to work with. I don't think I'm going to have to worry about needing to refresh there. I don't see the point in having a Fortune shovel. About the only thing I think it's useful for is when you're digging out for clay to try and get bricks. But since I've got villagers, I don't need to do that, like, ever. And I'll just dig out, just get those from the masons. It's so much easier to get a hold of that and then, not have to wait around for it to smelt. Yeah, we'll just buy everything. not have to deprive the whole... Does it always get 4 bells? I thought it would. I thought a fortune affected it. Maybe it did in an older edition? I'm not sure, but... Well, if it doesn't affect it, if fortune doesn't affect, you know, grabbing clay, then there's literally no point in having a fortune shovel. I mean, what else am I going to get with that? You know, I'm not going to use it on crops. I mean, same thing with an axe. There's really not a point in having a fortune axe anymore. I think you used to get more saplings with a fortune axe, but now your better tool rather to mine the leaf blocks with is the hoe. So, yeah, having a fortune axe doesn't make any sense. I mean, I still threw Silk Touch on mine just so I always have a Silk Touch tool right close at hand if my shovel's out. And that's really more for like getting glass and that sort of thing. And most of the time I'm generally digging with my Silk Touch pickaxe, so it's not a huge deal for me. But just throwing it on there just to kind of have the enchantment close at hand and have another option for it. And at least for me, the enchant's not expensive, so it's not that big of a deal. Yeah, see, but I thought about that with, you know, trying to get flint. Flint's useful in, you know, small quantities, but I don't have a use for a large amount of flint. I don't need it for arrows because I can get those off of skeletons. And we get enough skelly grinders around. I don't need that much flint and steel. And if I did need a lot of it, I could just, you know, throw the gravel down and dig it out by hand if I had to. It doesn't take that long. So there's really no point. Alright. Just getting all the drops. Okay, I don't need seeds. I would rather lose 4 seeds than several stacks of grass. Alright, let's throw you in there. And we're starting to get into the red with the shovel, but did not mean to land in the hole. Well, this might have enough durability to get all the way through. So, but this is what I was talking about. It seems like even beyond just having an extra 500 durability, it seems like with the Unbreaking enchantment on Netherite that it lasts longer. Like the durability hits less compared to Diamond. I'd need to do a full test by the numbers to confirm that, but that's just kind of how it feels. And maybe it's just because I do have that extra 500 durability, so it changes the percentage. Alright. And it's got a couple of spots of grass in the middle so it can spread efficiently there. Alright, let's get this edge taken down. Probably going to be a bunch of grass falling in the trench there, but oh well. Okay, yeah, that's not... There was a really deep hole around here somewhere. I don't remember where exactly it was. I am definitely going to need to fill in a bunch of these holes. And at some point I'm going to have to go down to all the caves underneath here and do some cave lighting. I have not even started mining in this area. I mean, I'll excavate what I can for diamonds just because, you know, diamonds are useful to buy things with. And it's also, I always find it useful to have a mine under where my main base is. Just somewhere where I can stick some of the ugly things that you have to have. Alright, let's grab this stuff. Make a small little ledge there so I can get out. Yeah, it's a little bit, but I'll get that later. I still have some durability left. Yeah, I might actually make this. And keeping an eye on the shell durability here. Oh, hey, there's Undertaker. How you doing? Yeah, you can see this is where my main base is going to be for the season, so spread out away from the starter base. And yeah, I'm a ways out here. If I remember my cardinal directions correctly, I think right over there is the northern wall. I mean, there's a world border there, but I think it's the north one. Yeah, trying to get all this brought down flat so that I can visualize where I'm building everything. We are almost done with this layer. But yeah, we got a couple more layers that we're going to need to go down here. But I'm trying to do this in stages because I would rather mine more of this up as grass than dirt. Just because grass, I think, is more useful. Yeah, we're going to have to dump off some items here. We can get that. Yeah, okay, no, I guess we can't. That's fine. We'll throw this into the box. Alright, how far did my durability get down to? 232. So we are down below, right about 10%. Make sure we got a hold of everything here. Alright, throw that in. And let's see, how are we doing here? Let's go ahead and fly up before I warp back and try to do some repairs. Yeah, see, we're going to eventually cut our way through there, and we'll end up cutting that out. But yeah, not doing too bad. I think once I get a repair off here, I can get that section cut down. Reach the end of the flight duration there. Yeah, we can probably get that half cut down. And by that time, the grass will probably have spread to most of this, where we can get it cut down. This is already at the Y level I need, so it's just those hills that need to get brought down to this level. And yeah, eventually I'm going to have to get the middle section cut. I will probably leave this as a small mound in the middle, just so I don't have to move the chest monster right away. I can figure that out later. But, okay. And we're just coming up on the nighttime here, so it's a good time to warp. Alright. Let's go see if I can repair this shovel up. Yeah, you got a couple of stacks. These guys do work pretty quick. I just haven't had a chance to AFK as much as I've wanted to the past couple days. Alright. Let's grab that. I'm just going to free up 3 so I got somewhere to put the emeralds. You, wake up. I need my shovel repaired. Even though you're still the more expensive one, it's fine. For some reason, one of them always wants to lag out on getting his trades reset. And it's always just one. I don't know if it's the same one. Okay, no, this time there's two. I figure I will eventually put some custom heads on these guys. Alright, that got us to the orange. We need to buy... Wake up. I need the masons. Now, so you're doubling your price there. I really don't want to pay double to you. You don't take long to reset there. You wake up. What do you got that I can use? You got glass. Glass and lanterns. Those are always useful to have in bulk. I only have 2 librarians, but... Oh. Alright, we'll throw those down. Let's put it down at the bottom here. And yeah, I only got about halfway there. Don't think I had anything brewing in here for some hidden XP. Yeah, I did get some of these done up, but... Let's go ahead and burn these up here. I've done a little bit, so let's grab one and we'll see how much XP is in this furnace. Oh, I had the wrong tool held. Hate that stupid scroll. And I don't think I had any other hidden furnaces around. Oh, we got a zombie. I don't think I'm wearing my armor. No, I am not. Put that back on. Let's see if we got some mobs around to go smack. That's another Enderman doing stuff there. I hate these guys. They keep ruining my terraforming. I really wish we would turn off Enderman griefing. Got a creeper party here. Always gonna need that gunpowder. Alright. Oh, more zombies. See? Random grass block. It's gotta be the Enderman. I hate these guys. Oh, another one of you guys hanging around in there. Try to use the lag to our advantage here while we can. We are almost full on there. And once that fills up, then I'm going to switch it over to another color. Oh, hello, skeletons. Let's see if I can do this without a hit. Ah, got one. 2. I think it was the same one that got that hit. Still, not bad. Not a bad round. Kill the random chicken. I'm just going around killing random stuff to try and get a little bit of XP. Oh, this I had put down as well for a fallen tree, just so we had something to use as a little bit of a bridge over this thing. Yeah, thankfully I have not had Enderman stealing blocks from my wool farm. How did the sheep get up there? Oh, okay. You climb. You're still not. You don't climb trees. That's illegal. But yeah, thankfully I have not had Enderman steal anything from farms just yet, or break redstone. Although I am very careful to use blocks that they cannot take. Before I putting redstone on, so no dirt, no sand, nothing like that. I learned that last season. Definitely do not want to put any redstone on top of blocks that Enderman can steal. But yeah, it is such an annoyance having to deal with them. See, I'm not killing the dog. The dog doesn't give me XP anyway. He might give me a head, but he's not going to give me XP. Let's see here. Suppose we can get a squid. Black dye is always useful. I should really be in the ocean for this, but grab what I can from here. What's that? Oh, that's an Enderman. See? He's stealing more dirt. These guys are jerks. Not gonna bother killing you right now. Let's see here. Do we have some... Wow, that's a lot of dolphins. We get so many dolphins in this ocean. Let's see if we can find a school of Grians. Can collect some more heads. I do have plans to sell those in the shop. We just haven't set up a display for mob heads yet. But I've got quite a few of them saved up already. They'll be pretty cheap because these are really common. Wow, I'm hardly seeing any cod at all. Well, right now I'm not seeing any. Okay, maybe I will have to up the price if they're not that common anymore. We were getting tons of them before. Maybe it's just because these chunks have been loaded. Can I fly here? Yes, I am still in fly mode. Let's try over by the shopping district more. See if those chunks have been loaded up more. I think that's gotten added on to a bit more here. By the way, I did show it earlier, but yeah, I have built up more on this boat. If someone wants to use that for a shop, just reach out to me, let me know. Oh, is there? Aha, this was a drowned thing, not a portal. But there's no chest there. First time I noticed that, even though I was building the ship and everything out here. I'm sure it would have gotten raided by now, but... No, I'm not seeing any water mobs here either. I wonder if they turned down the mob cap to try and combat the lag. I mean, that would totally make sense. Oh, someone's got a conduit. It's like the lights suddenly came on. So that definitely tells me there's no mobs around here because I don't see them anywhere. Okay, yeah, maybe I will have to keep the mob head prices higher, just since we don't have that many of them now. Anything around here? We got a squid. No head, but a little bit of XP. I don't think there's too much else around here. Alright, well, let's fly back. Hopefully my villagers' trades have reset by now. See if I can make this in the hole. Ah! So close. If I hit the angle just right, I can fly, like, right into there. And I've done it without dying so far. I haven't died to a, I haven't died to impact just yet. Let's see, do I have room in the random stuff chests here? Not enough for that yet, but that's fine. Okay. Got my shovel in my offhand, so I can, yeah, you still want to be expensive. Because they think they're special. See this guy too. Yeah, well, it's not like I really have to do much for these berries. I get them all for free. Okay, who didn't I trade with? They should have enough to get 60. Unless that was just because the price increase was different. Okay, now you finally locked out. Okay, well, we're almost full up there. You guys are still expensive. What is your deal? Alright, I am not paying the higher price for buying blocks. I'm not in desperate need for them yet, so I can afford to wait a little bit on those, but that gets most of my durability back. Okay. Let's go put this away. Just random junk. And flip over to the warp point. There we go. Okay, chunks are getting better at loading up faster. Let's see what else we can dig here. Let's go on and get this pole part cut up. You know, try and leave this section that I'm going to dig over here now for a little bit. Maybe by the time I've dug out the rest of the area, it'll have come down. As far as the grass is concerned. Alright. Even if it doesn't, there's not that much there. Just because it's right up on the border with the rock. Oh, I do have this section I can cut down. But yeah, so very first structure I think that's going to come up over here is going to be the station where the trains come in. And I'm probably not going to do like a full station house. I might need to do at least something there. But not like a full-blown station house. This would very much be a short trip. It's not the kind of station where you're going to sit and wait for the train very long. The trains run pretty regularly going in and out of the portal. So it's not something where we need to have a large waiting room area. They would always have the tea ladies. Those are really prevalent in the Victorian era. manning all the train stations, and at H.W. Smith's, they were just everywhere. It's just where you could buy all the books. Even though it's not that long of a trip, it just, more for the marketing and into things. They just had one in like every station. Alright. Oh yeah, definitely, mate. Go sleep. I'm surprised you haven't gone and passed out earlier. Yeah, go sleep. We'll talk to you later. Oh man. Like I said, I can't exactly say how much different. I have stayed up till the wee hours in the morning playing as well. Except for this weekend. Like I said, I think it all finally caught up with me, and I just had to sleep a lot more than I was really intending to. That happens as you get older. You just can't quite keep up with things. Handle doing all the late nights with the gaming and everything like I used to. Alright. Let's go on and pick up what I've got scattered here. Oh, what's older for me? I'll be 34 this year in November. I'm 33 right now. So, I mean, and I know I'm not that old, but old compared to where I used to be with some of the gaming stuff. I was insane in college. I could go for days without sleeping, and that was just kind of naturally how it would go. I can't do that anymore. I have to get at least some sleep every day. I still think I probably get less sleep than most people do, that are normal. I am definitely not normal. I don't consider myself to be normal, and good frankly, I don't know that I ever really want to be considered normal. But sleeping is definitely one that probably I could do better with if I was in what would be a more normal pattern. And we get another server reset going on here. Hitting 40. Oh yeah, no, I haven't hit there yet, but making my way towards it. I'm not particularly looking forward to it, but although I never really dreaded getting older, I don't think. I think I've always been kind of old at heart. I've just been kind of an old fart and a lot of the things. Just a lot of my tastes and that sort of things that I like. I tend to like a lot of the older stuff. I don't get a lot of the things that are common, even among my generation that have been popular there. I just have never really gotten. And we will just dig right on up to the restart here. But yeah, I think as far as plans for the future coming up here, streaming and that sort of thing, I will probably try and do my wither killing next weekend and do that for my next stream, because I'm sure that's going to be all kinds of fun shenanigans. What I would like to do, and I'm not sure how useful this would be, but I want to experiment with it. I want to see how well it works, letting the wither kind of go for a bit, dig down into the nether, and let the wither run for a little while, and use that to expose blocks for netherite mining. And see how much I can get exposed there. I mean, you got to worry about, when you're doing the netherite mining, having the explosion seems to be the useful method, whether you're doing beds or whether you're doing TNT. It just exposes a lot of blocks really quickly for you. But the wither's got free explosions, just going on constantly. That's what it does. So, why not use that? I mean, yeah, there's the potential for having a lava pool or something for the Nether Star to come into, so you got to watch out for that. But as long as I'm paying attention to where the lava pockets are, and as long as I get the wither so it's kind of in the middle of an area where it's not really got a lava pocket, if I have some extra blocks on me to block those up. And if I'm just running around dodging the explosions, let's just let it blow up the area around me, expose a lot of blocks, and see how it goes. But yeah, we'll see how this happens. And if it does end up hitting some of the piglins, I don't know. Will they aggro on the weather? I mean, if they do, then I might be able to just use them to my advantage. Just let the piglins spawn in, and they can just hit it en masse. I mean, if nothing else, that would get me some wither roses, which I could use for other farms. Ooh, can I make this before the reset? The reset legs, I might be able to do it. Race against the clock. Boom! Got it! Oh, you gotta get the little challenges for yourself in there. Alright, reset's coming in here. Let's go ahead and... Yeah, there it goes. Alright, and with that, I think I'm actually gonna go ahead and wrap things up on here. I didn't have too much else to really go into. Just kind of showed showed the area, showing that I'm making progress. Like I said, right now, a lot of it is just terraforming. I'm flattening things out and making things go through. But yeah, now if you guys do have anything that you're looking to show off for builds that you wanted to go through, send me a ping. I don't mind showing them around. I like kind of having my videos. I keep putting them up on YouTube and just having them as a resource for people to kind of check the server as we go through and being able to look back. I kind of wish I had done that with some of the stuff on Scarworld 1, just looking back on things as I was building through. But now that I've gotten the recording stuff figured out and that sort of thing, it's really cool to be able to look back at things that I was doing previously and kind of seeing how it built up from the process. So hopefully with this one, we could just do that from the start. So yeah, if you have other things that you wanted to build up around, send me a ping. I'll try to do it on whenever I do my weekend streams. But anyway, again, I'm going to wrap up. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will catch you guys next time.